Welcome everybody. My name is Alexis Queen and I am here to talk about the importance of spay and neutering. This is for my public speaking class, my first speech, so thank you all for being here. I really do appreciate it. So, to begin, I will be talking about 3 topics today. So, I will be talking about the overpopulation of the United States of cats and dogs. I will then talk about the benefits and healthier lives the animals will live in. And then I'll also talk about when you should be getting your animals spayed and neutered. So to begin with, if y'all didn't know, the United States is actually the leading country of the cats and dogs in the whole entire world. We have over 7 million dogs and 74 million cats. More than 6 million of these animals are in shelters currently. And I have experienced that hands-on because I personally volunteer at the Humane Society in New Bern every single week, so I get to experience all the cats that come into the shelter. And also after the Hurricane Florence, my dad and I, we helped go and rescue the animals that were on the streets, all abandoned and displaced. So with that said, only about 10% statistically, the animals are spayed and neutered when they come into the shelter, which means that the shelters then have to pay for all of the spay and neutering that needs to be done before the animals get adopted out, which is needed because if they don't, then they would just go roaming around and having more kittens and dogs, and then they'll have to be brought into the shelter because nobody can take care of them. And about 1.5 million of these animals are euthanized in the shelters, which is kind of sad to hear because all they know is going into the shelter, they're scared and alone, and then they are just killed. So all they know is the shelter life, and that's kind of sad. So the benefits of getting them spayed and neutered, the females actually live longer and healthier lives because getting them spayed, they are less prone to breast tumors and urinary infections and all their urinary problems. And the males, it prevents testicular and prostate issues. And the females, they won't go into heat because they're not cycling anymore because they got spayed, so they can't have puppies. And then males are actually less likely to roam away from their house, and they are more behaved because they are less prone to dominance and they're less territorial about their space and their people. When to spay and neuter. So dogs can actually be spayed and neutered anywhere from 6 to 9 months typically. The females, they usually neuter before they go into heat, just so that they don't have any issues and they don't have puppies. And then cats, they typically go into heat and they typically get spayed or neutered at 8 weeks to 5 months of age, but according to statistics online, they can actually get pregnant in 4 months. So, and then the older that they get, there's typically most post-operational problems. So anywhere from weight gain and dying from not waking up in anesthesia and all of that typical stuff. And then if we just help spay and neuter, we can take the animals off the streets and put them in your loving home, and then instead of putting them in the shelter, because shelters spend way too much money on food and all the supplies that go into running a shelter. Because I know that the New Bern Colonial Capital Humane Society, they are volunteer organized and they have to run off of volunteers and donations, unlike all these county shelters. And the county shelters actually get paid from the government, and the government pays them to euthanize, but the Humane Society, they actually do not euthanize. But they can only have so many animals, according to the state. They cannot have over the amount of animals that are in the Humane Society. And then if you want want to come down and volunteer, we are always accepting volunteers. So just put an application in and come down and volunteer at the dog kennels, or you can volunteer at the cat trailer. And we have a rabbit trailer actually too. So if you want to come down and volunteer, we can always use some help. Okay, thank you all for being here.